right, so as every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I talk about philosophical. I go live to talk about philosophical content pertaining to my actual life and the fruits of my wisdom throughout the process of building my actual personal family empire. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go into actionable business insights that the subsection of people who follow me who are entrepreneurs can actually directly benefit from. With that in mind, thank you very much for tuning in. Even if you're not watching this live, you are at least watching this at a different time and bearing with me as I get more and more comfortable with going live in general, as this is a relatively new thing for me. With that said, because today is Thursday, following the schedule, that means today is a marketing and business live stream day. So what I have to present to you, now ordinarily for my philosophical Monday, Wednesday, and Friday content, I generally don't have a PowerPoint presentation, but for the business content, I think it really helps to streamline what I want to say, keeping me completely on task and respectful for business people's time. With that said, now let's see here. Hey John, thanks for tuning in. Okay, now with that said, what I'd like to talk about today is abandoning the illusion of entrepreneurial independence. Now, by that, what do I mean? Actually, I'm going to flash forward for a couple slides and to start off with this one. Okay, so abandoning the illusion of entrepreneurial independence. By that, I mean that regardless of what your business model may be, whether you are a direct consumer business model, whether you are a subscription business model, whether you are a marketplace business model, there are many different ethical business models that exist that you can employ throughout the process of building your respective business or achieving whatever revenue goal that you'd like to throughout the process of your continual self-awareness and evolution as a company. So simply because you start off with one business model doesn't mean that it wouldn't behoove you to pivot to or evolve into a different business model or to add new ones to it. Like for example, using myself as an example, my own sole proprietorship, Omi Firm, has been in business for the past 10 years, and we've serviced nearly 200 companies throughout the past 10 years in marketing services. With that in mind, usually I'm hired as a fractional CMO, and I serve on their executive board or as it's a temporary fill-in on their executive boards for the more permanent CMOs. With an 80% client return rate, I've served on a variety of different companies' boards throughout the process of developing as a professional. Now, I could go about this. I started off going about this with direct service. And in my mind, I thought that I was completely independent, but I was blue-pilled, so to speak, to use the Matrix metaphor. I didn't realize how heavily I relied upon other business partners because I didn't necessarily talk to them or think of them as business partners. Namely, let's say WordPress. My first website, and the website that we have right now, is built on WordPress. WordPress is a content management system built by the company WordPress, right? So that is a partner. Even if I never sat down to have an actual live one-on-one business meeting, I still rely on this company to give me a secure content management system that I rely upon heavily, critically, to build my personal brand in the marketing industry and secure clients that lead to income. What we see here, I'm going to switch the screens here for a second so that you can see my PowerPoint presentation more clearly. Okay. And let's move that back up. Let's do. All right. So I'll put myself in the smaller screen. So what we can see here is a series of examples of partners that entrepreneurs generally don't think of as partners, right? So I use WordPress as a partner, right? So you might think of them as tools or media channels or marketplaces, but what are these tools, media channels, and marketplaces? They're all companies. Each and every single last one of them are fellow companies on whom you rely to deliver whatever service you want to deliver and whatever business model that you want to deliver, and whatever business model that you want to establish, and simultaneously, however you want to build your respective brand, either personal or business. Right. So with that in mind, all of these media channels, Google, Facebook, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, when I first built my marketing firm, using myself as an example, but this also applies to some of our clients. When I first built it, I wanted to stay off of companies like Upwork. I viewed them as almost, I don't want to say beneath me, but as a crux. I viewed them as a something that was too easy for someone like me to become dependent upon, pertaining to my entrepreneurial independence. And as I was continually caught between the need to satiate short-term bill paying and the long-term macro developmental evolution of my personal asset column pertaining to finance management, I wanted to gradually wean myself off of Upwork, because there's nothing like owning everything and having my own direct selling means of converting a client directly from LinkedIn or directly from Facebook. But then I didn't realize at the time I didn't realize the contradiction. So you think, if I was to speak to myself as well as other clients that I've worked with, and I'm not going to name, but I've had this discussion with them now at my new level, my recently acquired level of wisdom. It's like, listen to that very phrasing, listen to that sentence that I want to get off of Upwork in order to secure clients with Facebook. Now, the blue pill will think that you are free, that you are somehow independent and able to secure clients on your own without any sort of business partnership if you do that. But in actuality, you're just demonstrating a preference for one business partner over another. Both partners, which is exactly what they are, bring your clients or bring your respective target audience together. Now, I'm using my own marketing firm as an example, but you can apply this concept universally to any business in any industry that would market themselves online. Facebook is a company. LinkedIn is a company. And on this company, you are building your respective brand as you compete for the attention of your respective target audience for whatever it is that you may sell. I don't care if you're selling pizza. They are, in fact, a business partner. And you rely upon this business partner in order to generate whatever sales you need from your online channels. If you're using tools like Asana, Bravo, HubSpot, ClickUp for your task management and CRM, and if you don't know what a CRM is, it's client relations management software. That is essentially a partnership that you are striking in order to be able to manage your business effectively as it grows and scale the process of developing very strong parasocial relationships with your given target audience. Now, with that said, when I came to that Satori, or that enlightenment several years ago, I realized that I was severely underappreciating companies like Upwork. And if I was to go to Upwork right now and pull up my profile, which I will. 1 second. I'll show you the other slides later and I'll go into that. Let's see here. Now I want to do that. It shows this page. There we go. I have multiple income streams. Upwork is just one of them. So instead of thinking that Upwork was something to be ashamed of, I realized no, it's right. As you can see here on Upwork, I've done a lot of work on Upwork. I've over $500,000 in Upwork with over 10,450 hours worked, nearly 200 companies versus I realized that Upwork is absolutely not something to be ashamed of. It is one of the pistons of my company's engine that is a reliable business partner, especially as they secure contracts with clients in the short term. So now, if we go back to the presentation here, it allows us to change our view. So instead of thinking that we have that you're independent on one platform but not another, instead think of each business partner as assets, because that's exactly what they are by definition of what an income asset would be. With that said, Upwork, I changed my view. Upwork is an asset. Facebook is an asset. Twitter is an asset. LinkedIn is an asset. All of these are business partnerships that if you instead view them not so much as tools, but as partnerships that deliver such value to you, you could humanize each brand, even if you haven't had a personal conversation with the CEO, as necessary to plan an adequate marketing strategy for whatever your business model is. Now, here's why that is poignant, because that's actually just setting up the point that I want to deliver about the customer's journey. What is the customer's journey pertaining to your respective business model? It doesn't matter what industry you're in, just simply your business model. Every single business in every single industry worldwide, their audience goes through the customer's journey when deciding whether or not to buy from you. If you're unfamiliar with the customer's journey, here's a brief overview of it. The customer's journey, and I don't care if you're selling pizza. As a matter of fact, I'll use pizza as an example. So there are three main stages of the customer's journey. I personally added a fourth at the bottom, and this is not something that I've just concocted. This is academic. This is taught in business colleges, business degrees in colleges worldwide. You can Google the information pertaining to customer's journey and find 1,000 different knowledge sources for it. And you can also find information about the academic information for what's called the law of diffusion of innovation. A great TED talk that was given about this, the point that I'm about to go into, was given by a world famous marketer named Simon Sinek. In his world famous speech, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Look that up on YouTube. It's fantastic TED Talk that influences many. It was given years ago, but it influences many to this very day. It's millions of views. Now, with that said, going back to this, the awareness stage of the customer's journey is when your target audience is unaware that they even have a problem, or they are aware that they have a problem, but they're not aware that there's a solution like you're providing for it. Using the pizza example, and 9 times out of 10, your target audience will be aware if they are hungry, but they may not be aware that your pizza parlor is the solution for them to satiate or to solve the problem of their respective hunger. Going down, okay, so in the consideration stage of the customer's journey, your target audience is they're now aware of their problem, they are aware that there are solutions for their problem, and they are actively building a list of solutions, and they're sort of weighing each option for which is best for them. Relying on the pizza example, your target audience may be aware that they are hungry, but that does not necessarily mean that they have necessarily considered your pizza parlor as a solution for them. Instead, they might have in their minds a list of pizza places that they want to order from, if it's even pizza at all, because you're simultaneously competing with Chinese restaurants, you're competing with McDonald's, other fast food restaurants. So the target audience will then say, in the awareness stage of the customer's journey, okay, I'm hungry. That's the acknowledgement of a problem. The consideration stage is, okay, well, what are my options? That is, okay, the acknowledgement that there are a list of restaurants to choose from, to order from. And then in the decision stage of the customer's journey, that's when the transition of the from consideration to decision is when, out of the mental list of options that your ideal target audience has built, they will then knock one off until, in like a sort of Darwinian process of selection, all the way until they whittle the list down into the ideal one. And if your business is not that ideal one at the end of their process, their Darwinian process of elimination, for the solutions that are best for them, for the food that's best for them at this time to solve their problem of hunger, then you will not get the sale. Now, the bottom layer that I've added there, the decision leading into the loyalty section. Loyalty is, okay, now that's the assumption, the hypothetical that, okay, your customer has been made aware. They are now aware that they have a problem. They are aware that you provide a solution, the solution to their problem. You've passed the Darwinian selection process of your competitors to win their hard-earned money in exchange for the solution that you are providing, that you're all equally providing to solve the same problem. You've won that competition, and now they've bought from you, and loyalty is the other that I have personally added into my take, my interpretation, my version of the customer's journey. So the three that you'll find in academia that's taught as a standard operating procedure, the three stages will be awareness, consideration, and decision. I have personally added in the loyalty section because if you consider brand loyalty, then you don't have to go through the same exact, you can shortcut the process of the customer's journey again with repeating customers, because it generally, statistically, costs about 3 to 6 times more to acquire a totally new customer than it does to retain a previously buying customer due to brand loyalty. And this is when we get into, and this would be a separate conversation pertaining to how to nurture brand loyalty, to maintain the strength of your parasocial relationship that you have with your respective target audience, and how to keep them buying from you again and again and again and again over time. And that yields the highest ROI, also known as your return on investment, over whatever your respective sales cycle may be, which will vary per person. And business to business models is on average 2 years. In business to consumer models, it's on average anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Now, with that said, okay, so what is the value of all this? Why am I speaking about all this? And what does this have to do with abandoning the illusion of marketing partners or business partners, pertaining to this slide being the partners that entrepreneurs generally don't think of as partners? I'm going to go back to my own entrepreneurial experience. When I first started, my target audience still is by majority small businesses throughout Western civilization, both in America and throughout Europe. And I've been helping them to solve their marketing problems pertaining to getting them off the ground and securing whatever sales they like for the respective sales cycle, or exceeding their goals. Like, for example, if you have a company that is, they've set a target for $100,000 per month in revenue, and they want to, that's their target, and they're currently struggling at $40,000 per month in revenue. How do they go from $40,000 per month in revenue to $100,000 per month in revenue? They bring a consultant like me on board to analyze their business model, their marketing efforts, and their target audience, and come up with a meta-analytical strategic solution that is respective to them, custom and respective to them, in order to achieve that respective goal. And that is what a marketing strategist does in a nutshell. Now, when it comes to using myself as an example and how I've started, there were 2 ways to build a professional services firm. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be, I don't care if you're a law firm. It could be, you don't have to be a marketing firm. You could be a law firm. It could be, really anything. Pick anything off of the Upwork menu of professional, or Fiverr menu of professionals out there that offer contracted services as freelancers. Anything that you could possibly do. You could be really anything. So the marketplace models serve as a partner to all companies in any respective industry, as the one-stop shop for satiating the immediate need of a target audience. Usually this will be within the, if we say a business-to-business sales cycle is 2 years on average, then the moment, if you're nurturing a lead within your respective industry, the moment that they are aware that they have, again, the awareness stage of the customer journey, the moment that they are aware that they have a problem that services like you can provide, they immediately go to on average, they will generally go to a marketplace business model. That's for the satiation of the short term. Okay. Now, in order to, if you built your brand, which you can theoretically do this, if you built your professional services brand on purely the short-term acquisition of meeting demand where it is rather than generating demand, right? Because that's basic marketing is meeting demand where it's at. Advanced marketing is generating demand, or the long-term view of making sure that you have secured the respect of a target audience to think of you as first in mind when they have the demand for your services at a future time. So whenever you have anything that would pertain to a long-term business model, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't have to be a professional services model either. It doesn't have to be a marketing firm. It doesn't have to be anything. Let's look at marketplaces like Etsy. Like if we were to go to a marketplace like Etsy, Etsy is it's a marketplace not for professional services. Well, you could argue that they're professional services, but Etsy is for arts and crafts, artisan works. And the concept of that as a marketplace is the same, even if the industry is different. If I was an Etsy brand, if I was a basket weaver, or if I created jewelry and I sold them on Etsy, there are two ways to build my brand. The same as there would be the same exact two ways that any professional services would need to secure sales on Upwork or any of its other rivals like Fiverr. And that is your wares, whatever it is that you've built, whatever product that you've designed, that you've developed, that you're selling on Etsy. The moment you list it on Etsy, you will not make a sale unless your target audience is already searching for what that is, or somehow is already in the market, hence the term marketplace business model, which is what Etsy, Upwork, and Amazon are. They're already searching for some aspect of what it is that you're selling, and there it is. You're competing for once you're in the market, once you list yourself as in the market, whether it's a product that you developed or it's a professional services business model that you have. Your marketplace that you're competing in is there for the short-term acquisition of your target audience's attention once they are already in the consideration stage of the customer's journey. Breaking free from that is a matter of later on securing the respect of the target audience in such a way that once they have a demand, they may not have demand for your services now or your product right now, but the moment that they do, you are the first that they think of, and maybe they'll directly contact you rather than going through the competitive atmosphere of whatever marketplace model that you're also listing your services on. And this is most often done by email marketing, social media advertising, and whatnot. But in either case, as per the thesis of this live stream, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, whether you secure leads or customers in the short term via the marketplace partners, or you secure them by the long term in the form of building your personal brand with the media channel partners, such as Google, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. No matter what, you are relying on a partner of some kind. So the moment you have that mentality that no matter what you're doing, you are not actually fully independent. You're relying on someone, at least one other person, or at least one other company to build your personal brand and to secure sales or clients or customers, however, with that respective partner. As long as you have that in mind, then you realize that you can shift your view to think of each of these partners as exactly what they are, being assets of your overall marketing engine, or pistons firing of your overall marketing engine, and thereby develop a long-term, fully clear bird's eye view of your meta-analytical a meta-analytical bird's eye view of your overall sales cycle, which means, using myself as an example again, or other professional services like mine, if I want to secure a client within 1 week to 3 months, I will rely on Upwork. If I want to establish myself and continually compete, if I want to invest the resources necessary to remain at the top of a target audience's minds, thereby rendering Upwork moot over the long term, in such a way that I am the first person that they think of, or my company or your company is the first person that they think of, you have to continually market yourself through other media channel partners, such as the common social media platforms. So each partner has their respective place and usefulness as per the overall 1 to 2 year sales cycle for whatever business you have or are building in whatever industry. Okay. With that in mind, with all that explained, are there any questions? Let's see here. Checking. Checking for any questions. Because I'm broadcasting to different social media platforms at once. So let me see here. Oh, no questions so far. Let's see here. Nothing on YouTube. No questions on YouTube. Let me refresh LinkedIn. Okay, I don't see any questions on LinkedIn. Yet I do see viewers. So I guess nobody has any questions. Hopefully I was clear and succinct enough in the articulation of my lesson. Okay. No? Okay, no questions. All right, well, even though I'm going through the ugly phase in reference to when you're getting the desired hairstyle, especially if it's long, you have to go through the ugly phase of the less desirable version, the baby version of your hairstyle before you actually get the version that you want. Or we can talk about growing a beard. As I'm beginning the new behavioral pattern, the new routine of going online and live streaming the live demonstration of my knowledge in real time, which is totally new to me. I may not seem uncomfortable, but I am. If you find, whether you're watching this live or whether you're viewing this later, if you find my insights valuable, if you have any further questions as well that I could also live stream about or even have a one-on-one call with you about, by all means, contact me through omifirm.com, and I'll go back to the leading page that you see exactly, the title page that you see exactly where that is. Right, so right here, www.omifirm.com, omifirm.com. You can read more about my entrepreneurial experience and as a marketing strategist, fractional CMO. And you can subscribe to if you become a paying subscriber of my Substack, which I will go into right now, actually, you can think of the meager, humble monthly subscription fee as a kind of retainer, as a matter of fact. Very inexpensive, because I understand that to contract me by the hour is something that the average entrepreneur cannot afford. Ordinarily, companies, the higher level small businesses will actually contract me on an hourly basis or on a contractual basis. Companies that have investor funding or they are already previously established. However, if you're a new entrepreneur, or if you've been in business for a little while and you're still sort of building the strength of your wings, then if you find my insight valuable, then I highly recommend you to become a paid subscriber, which only costs, I think, $7 a month USD. And in that, you will be able to contact me directly, and I will give you specific, poignant advice about your actual business in a passive way without being hands-on. And then perhaps later, you can contract me directly. Okay, without further questions, I will end the stream. Thank you very much for watching. Even if you're not live, and I'm going through the ugly phase of only having a few followers online to watch and digest this content before I start to grow more and more over time. Because I'm checking YouTube, I am in fact growing subscribers. So it's a slow, gradual grind of building that audience with this new direction that I'm taking in my content. So regardless of whether you're viewing this now or later, if you're an entrepreneur, a business manager, and you'd like my marketing consultancy, passively, all you got to do is sign up to my Substack, and directly you can find me on Upwork or contract me directly through my website.